Hi, St. Andrews. My name is Julie Wood. It is such a delight to bring you today's morning moment. My grandparents, who I affectionately knew as Mama and Papa, served with a wonderful ministry called the Navigators for much of their marriage. They spent 7 of those years in New Zealand, and back in 2014, I had the tremendous privilege of going down and essentially retracing much of their ministry journey there. I visited with different families and friends whose lives they had impacted over their 7 years. And though it's been over 25 years since they were there, the fruit of their ministry was still being seen all through these families. Well, this one particular couple who probably were the closest to my mama and papa embraced me with such beauty. And in the midst of their hospitality, we toured day after day to different places or homes and that they enjoyed, reminiscing about the times that they had with Mama and Papa. And as we made our way down from the northern tip in Auckland to the center of the North Island, we ended up at a place called the Agrodome. And apparently the Agrodome was, in Faye's words, the thing that tickled Mama the most. Having been from the United States and not from an agricultural area, anyone who travels to New Zealand will be overwhelmed by the amount of sheep that are just wandering around the pastures of New Zealand. And the Agrodome was no doubt created as a tourist attraction to be able to not just see the sheep, but feed them and learn about them and interact with them. And so once we arrived, they said, hey, we've got tickets to the show. Having no clue what to expect, I went inside and sat down, and they brought out every breed of sheep that exists in the world today, and each had its type of, the name of type of sheep it was and where it came from. And some were overwhelmingly full with wool, and others were scrawny, and they had all different types of faces. And then about midway through, the sheep shearer came out. Now, I grew up having gifts given by my mama and papa of sheepskin, little carpets and other things, but I'd never seen the process of how it was done. Well, as the sheep shearer came, he went and grabbed this big sheep and he dragged it by its hooves and alongside its backside, and he placed it right in the position that he needed it to be. Now, it changed positions multiple times, but initially the shearer would put the sheep like this. And then it would put it like this. And these positions were terribly awkward. And yet, even if he's got 3 hooves in different directions, the sheep, once placed there, would stay exactly as the shearer had placed it. It was a remarkable process and fascinating to watch all of the wool be stripped. Afterwards, I found myself a little bit embarrassed for the sheep, who absolutely did not resemble the one that initially came out. Well, I've often thought back on that experience and wondered, as I read Psalm 23 and think about the Lord as my shepherd, how complicit am I when the shepherd, when my Lord, positions me in such a way that he desires to extract the fruit of my life, the things that define me, the things that bring me comfort, the things that bring me warmth. I know that some of you may be carrying around more than what you feel you were intended to, and you are in desperate need of having that weight removed and having the burden of what it is that you carry taken away and repurposed for God's glory. For others of you, you might find yourself in that very awkward position of being molded and twisted and stripped. And that process, when you're in the middle of it, can feel so incredibly cruel and uncomfortable. Still, others of you might find yourself in a position where you've just been stripped of everything that you knew, your comfort, your wealth, your identity, your job. Well, wherever you find yourself in the process of meeting with the shepherd, I know that his desire is to mold us and to make us more like him. There's safety in the shepherd. And while there's a vulnerability to approaching the shepherd and allowing him to conform us and to take from our lives that which he can yield, as well as that which he longs to release us from, I think it's time for us to put on a new coat of wool. It's time to be stripped of the old and to allow him to make of us anything that he can for his glory. So let's today, as we enter in, embrace the vulnerability. Let's find the courage to come to the Good Shepherd, awaiting the freedom that comes as he takes off of us our burden, and await all that he will do in and through our lives this day. Have a great day.